Yo, 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 welcome to the Pitch Report. I'm Mario.
And I'm Amilcar.
And in today's episode, San Diego FC remains undefeated, and we're breaking down the Champions League round of 16, round 2, leg 2.
Yeah, leg 2, round 4 or 5, unclear. But yeah, round of 16. Crazy. Super exciting. Undefeated. What is that, 4 games now?
4
undefeated?
games. We tie St. Louis SC as the only expansion team to go 4 games and remain undefeated. So if we can go 5 games next week, we will tie the record and potentially, I don't want to get ahead of myself, knock on wood, maybe beat them if we go to 6.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I know the caveat is obviously they went 5-0, like they won all 5 of their games, but still, nonetheless, it's still a great accomplishment. So unfortunately, we didn't get to go to this game. The first home game we've missed. I know there's 2, so it doesn't sound too great.
Hey, we've been to half of them.
Exactly, yeah, 50% of the games we've been to. But from watching on TV, it seems like it was another huge crowd, another great environment. And I don't know, I think this game said a lot about us. We went down again early, or kind of early.
And into the second half, we started it down.
Yeah. So we were able to come back. Obviously, then we had the huge red card. And it seemed like the second half, it was like a completely different team that was playing, right?
Yeah, I think in many ways, San Diego FC was playing their Eastern Conference equivalent. Both teams came in with the same record, won 2 games, tied 1 game. They both play possession ball. So it kind of looked like they were playing like their twins, minus like the bright yellow jerseys.
Yeah, but I feel like it was definitely a tale of 2 halves. Like the first half started off way swinging on the Columbus Crew, on their side. The possession I think was 30-70 at one point on Columbus. And like you said, they both thrive on possession-based football. So then the second half is when I think it definitely changed. Once they scored the goal, I think then it was all right, we got life, But the thing I really liked about this game that we were able to see was I feel like they created so many chances. I know that we still have a ton of opportunities to finish, and I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the fact that they were able to cross so many balls, get so many chances, have that back line on their heels the whole time, I think is a big difference from what we had seen in the previous games.
Yeah, and on those chances, we got our first set-piece goal. It was a great header. So it was exciting to see them show some diversity, I guess, in their goal-scoring ability, despite that was the only chance that they ended up converting. But still a important tie, I would say.
Yeah, and that was after the injury to the striker, right? Ingvartsen went out at the end of the first half, I think, and then it was Valkyrie that came in.
Yeah.
And he was one that got the header. So, it was good to see that they could, like you said, a set piece goal, and that really I think changed the tide. I think we got to say the red card obviously changed the tide. Yeah. But even before then, the fact that we had Dreyer just going out and then the last man foul that led to the red card, the fact that we even had that run was huge. And honestly, to me, Andres Dreyer is kind of become what we thought Chucky, and obviously he was injured, right? So disclaimer, but kind of what we thought he was going to be. He's kind of been the face of the franchise, and he's playing with so much energy, which is kind of weird to see, because we didn't expect it.
I agree, and I'm starting to believe that any game he can be a difference maker, and I guess you're starting to see why he was our second designated player on the team. Of course, the first one being Chucky, but I agree, he's been very dynamic, and he seems to have goal scoring abilities, or at least creates plays. It seems like every goal or serious opportunity we're creating, he's involved in one way or another. So I'm excited with what I've seen with him so far.
Yeah, and I think something I also want to point out is when you watch the end of the games, maybe the last 15, 20 minutes, I feel like other teams get tired, but San Diego FC just kind of almost turns it up a notch.
Yeah.
So it's kind of wild to see how much energy they play with, and that's where I think they capitalize, and take over the game. We saw it with Salt Lake, same thing. They were playing at altitude. Salt Lake seemed like they were a little bit more heavy-legged, a little more exhausted, and San Diego took it to them the last 5 to 10 minutes, and that's where they scored the goal. So I wonder if that's going to be a trend that we're going to start seeing.
Yeah, and that speaks a lot to their preparation too, because it's not something you can just say, we're going to play this way. You have to physically prepare your body to be able to really basically change gears and go up late in the game.
Yeah, and I feel like almost at that part of the game, it's a lot of it is going to be mental, So I think that's where like playing for each other and playing as like a tight-knit team, which you wouldn't think those words would be used with someone like a team that has just, been together. I think they were saying like, 4 games, like 7, 8 weeks. Yeah, exactly. And they're playing like a team that's like playing for each other. And those last, 20 minutes is where like the mentals take over. And they're like, no, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep pushing. And I feel like the tie changed from the beginning. It was like, not to say that we were playing for a tie or like that a tie we would have been happy with, but like Columbus is a great team.
Yeah.
They're, I think, ranked 3rd in the Eastern Conference, and they've historically been a really strong team. But towards the end, honestly, like I was talking to my cousin Adrian, and he was saying like this almost feels like an L, and that's like kind of it sucks to see that, but it's also great. Like, wait, we should have won this game. Like we let this game slip out of our hands, which is an awesome feeling for how sucky it feels, right?
I totally agree with Adrian's point, and I do want to touch on that. But before that, I want to go back to what you were saying about the mentality of the team. And I agree. 30 minutes into the game, we're down 1-0, and the goal was scored in like the teens of the game. And it's not like San Diego reacted super quickly. It was still Columbus it looked like they were going to get the second goal before we were going to get the first. So the fact that San Diego was able to, in whatever way, get to the half at 1-0 and then tie the game, and that's when we see like the momentum shift. The red card happens, and we eventually are we're basically just attacking. And at that point, when the red card happens at around the 60th minute, so you got about a third of the game left, you think, okay, I'm liking my chances. We're tied 1-1 and down 10 players. So I kind of felt like it also felt like an L for that reason, just because it's a big opportunity that we got to have a third of the game with one more person, and that just the fact that we were at home and we weren't able to finish it off just kind of stung a little bit. So in that reason, I thought it felt like an L as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's also tough though when teams go down to 10 men, they play obviously a whole different game, right? You're just stepping back and just playing like in the low block and trying to make sure that no one gets through. But the frustrating part, I think, and kind of probably what you're alluding to, is like we still created so many opportunities. There was a header that went right over the bar.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple one-on-ones with the goalie where we just like couldn't finish it. Like, so those are the crazy ones that you're just like, it wasn't just like they sat back. It's like we definitely had opportunities, and it makes you think like, man, if you had like 2-3 more minutes, like maybe it was just like right on the edge.
And technically, we did get 2 goals that were disallowed. They ended up being offside. So I guess
questionably.
Yeah, questionably. So credit to the team. We did kind of create realistic opportunities. Alex Maiden had a really good look too, where the ball just went wide a little bit. So all in all, the team. Yeah, I guess I'm not changing my stance that it felt like an out, but I'm just trying to give them a little bit more credit.
Yeah, Alex Maiden is so quick.
Man.
Yeah, it was wild to watch him play. And I will say, like, the good part about the injuries, as like weird as it is to say, is like we're seeing like a lot of these talents that aren't getting as much playing time getting to play and seeing like, oh wow, these guys are actually really good, and also getting to see some more faces. Which for us, like, we weren't super familiar with a lot of the players that were playing, so we're kind of getting to know them as the games go through. But being able to see a couple more players come in, and a player like him, where you're just like, that guy's got a motor, man. Like, it was like the 90th minute, he was just still flying around the pitch.
Yeah, totally agree. Like, when the team started, we like look at the roster, and they're just names on like a website or on a piece of paper. So it is nice to like attribute a style of play or certain moments to these players. It's like the history of like this team is being written like game after game after game.
Yeah, no, so that's really cool. And then they had some stars on the sidelines watching them.
Oh, really? No.
Oh, you didn't see? You didn't see the Padres? The entire
team
Padres
showed up?
up?
Oh, yeah. And they before the game, they had like the ceremony with them, right?
Yeah, they did. They did the similar thing where they brought the ball out. So maybe I think that's something they're gonna do every match is like bring the ball out and do like the whole SD thing. But I thought that was just gonna be like the inaugural thing. But it seems like they're doing that every single match now.
Oh, very cool.
For 2 matches.
It's nice to see that, because up until this point, I hadn't seen a lot of like collaboration between like Padres and like either the Wave. Also, shout out to the Wave. They had their first game of the season against Angel City FC, 1-1 tie. So both San Diego soccer teams undefeated. let's keep it going. But anyway, so I hadn't seen a lot of collaboration between like the Padres and the. Actually, I take that back. The Wave did have Alex Morgan go to a Padres game, so I've seen them in that regard. But I hadn't seen like on social media that many like cross collaboration between any of the soccer teams.
Yeah, Manny got a PJ for them, and they all traveled. And I follow Fernando Tatis on social media. Man, that guy's wild. Like he's just like such a fun time. But yeah, they all went to the game. There's a bunch of them that got announced in the beginning. So like you said, I think it's kind of neat that they're kind of merging. And it seemed like a lot of them, like on social media, they were like, "Oh, I thought the season was over in October," but like it seems like just like the hype is still real, and like they're kind of comparing, you know, postseason feel at Petco Park with like an SDFC match, which is neat to see.
Awesome, and that's great to hear. I also followed Tatis on Instagram, but I guess I missed like that day. But whenever I see him doing things, I'm like, idiot, do not get hurt. Do not get hurt.
Yeah, he's always doing all this crazy stuff.
And I love him, by the way. I feel bad I called him an idiot, but just I was upset when he got hurt 2 years ago.
If he's listening, you know.
Yeah.
Mario's kidding. He doesn't actually mean it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was cool. So once again, like we talked about, we're having a lot of people out there. Another thing to touch on is, you know, we pulled up the, I mean, it's only been a couple of games, but the MLS attendance and the SDFC are ranked number 3. So the average attendance is 32,262. And mind you, the people that are ahead of them is Charlotte FC and Atlanta United, but they both play in football stadiums. So it makes sense that they would be able to fill up more than SDFC. So
how much higher are they than us?
39,000 and 50,000.
Okay, yeah, they're
but their
pretty.
capacities are 75 and 73,000.
Yeah, okay, yeah, pretty high up.
Yeah, exactly. So we're selling out or getting really close to selling out, which I think is what's keeping the environment and the ambiance, and also like, you know, that helps the team. You know, like you want to be that team that people don't want to go to San Diego and play. You know, it's like, oh, it's a rowdy environment, it's crazy. Like we know it's gonna be a long 90 minutes. And
I feel like you get a better quality of game usually when you have that. Like it hypes the players up, like you just mentioned. And to everyone that thought San Diego is not a sports town or can't support multiple franchises, like this is proving that you can if you make a good investment in the team and you're committed to putting a successful product on the field, then the fans will respond.
Yeah, so shout out NBA if you guys want to bring a team. Right.
Bring the Clippers back?
Oh, I don't know about that.
That'd be a hard one for Amilcar.
Yeah, I'm a Laker fan, so no, the Clippers can stay in LA. But I'm very happy to see that. So, and now we can transition to the second thing we want to talk about, our second segment, which was the Champions League round of 16 second leg. So, you want to start us off, Mario?
Yeah, so we had, I think, a few, like the first round, a few duds and a few really good games. So I think we could kind of semi-quickly go through it. Like Inter Feyenoord 2-1. Not much of a game, I would say. Inter had some really good goals. Inter, I learned, had only conceded 1 goal in all their matches so far. So props to Feyenoord. They got another goal against Inter. But other than that, I didn't have any big takeaways.
No. Yeah, so and Bayern Leverkusen, kind of similar thing, aggregate 5-0. We kind of figured that was going to happen. Aston Villa again, 3 against your underdog, Club Brugge. So unfortunately, your underdog didn't last very long.
Yeah. Okay. I think we need to address some of how we both ended up doing with our predictions. But also going back to the Bayern Leverkusen game, shout out Harry Kane, man of the match, great game. 10 goals on 10 games for the Champions League. So keep it up. The trophy's getting closer for you.
Do you think someone's going to get to the 17 number this year?
Wait, 17 what?
It's Ronaldo's record for
for goals.
Most
goals.
Wow. Granted, they're playing more games.
Yeah, they're playing more
so
games.
It's a little bit different, but Rafinha's at 11, I want to say.
Oh, man. Oh, there's a good well, technically, quarterfinals has 2 games, semi has 2, and then the final.
There's 5 more games left.
5 more games.
To score 6 goals for Rafinha to tie, and then 7 goals. It's a lot of goals.
I don't think so. Not this year. Yeah. That'd be a lot. And you get further in the tournament, I feel like you don't have like these shootouts as you do earlier on.
Yeah, that's fair. If anything, you would have thought that someone in the Arsenal team would be the one that would have more goals with the amount of goals that were scored in this match.
Yeah. I mean, credit to PSV. Second game, 2-2 draw. So the honorable result there. I didn't really check the Arsenal lineup, but might have not been everyone.
I appreciate the positivity, Mario. Yeah. I'm sure the PSV fans are rooting for you.
Yeah.
And then what else? Or do you want to go over the predictions, or you want to go over the?
Oh well, we can wrap up with Dortmund and Lille. That one was that one was tough. Lille got an early goal right at the beginning, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna call this upset. That was like the second upset I had called. Ultimately 2-1. Barcelona, what can I say? They got it done.
God,
they got it done. They're looking really good. I gotta say, Barcelona was very dominant, and not because I'm biased, but just based on what I'm seeing, and maybe because I'm biased, I see Barcelona in the final.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, a lot can happen, but yeah, they're definitely playing. Probably, I would argue probably they're playing the best out of everybody that we've seen, especially with the kind of flop that we saw with Liverpool, which I think arguably we can probably say was probably the favorite to win it going into the Champions League, and they kind of didn't really show up. I mean, arguably both games didn't really show up, but definitely didn't show up against PSG this last one. So yeah, I would argue, yeah, I think they're probably the favorites up there with, I would say Real Madrid, PSG, Bayern. I think that's probably where I think they're reasonable people that are going to win it. But yeah, they're very impressive. Honestly, I will say, as much as it pains me to say that.
So you teased the Liverpool PSG score. So PSG went up on penalties, and then we're going to talk about it more. And then also Atletico Real Madrid. Real Madrid went up on penalties as well. But out of these 8 games, how did your predictions go?
I mean, I don't know. Like, you tell me. All I know is I predicted every single match correctly, or who was going to go through correctly this time.
This motherfucker don't miss.
Okay. Props to you. I was pretty impressed with my 6 out of 8 going into it. And I wish we would have gotten my reaction when you told me that you got all of them right when I saw you today. But yeah, congratulations, Amilcar. 8 out of 8.
Yeah, I was like, oh, hey, Mario, we should probably talk about, who got the predictions right, this and that. He's like, oh, yeah, I guess if you want to. And I was like, he's like, how'd you do? I was like, well, I got them all right. He's like, oh, my God.
Yeah, I was like, what? No way.
Yeah, I was actually very much thinking about that when the games were going. I was like, oh, there you go. 1 for 1, 2 for 2. Oh, all of them right. I love it. I think you picked the Atletico kind of wrong, and then you picked Lille, right?
So I got 5 actually out of 8.
Come on, man.
Keeping me honest. Thank you.
Rounding up.
Okay, well, actually, that's a good place where we could start. I don't know if Atletico actually lost as much as Real Madrid did just enough to get through. What did you think about the Atletico Real Madrid game?
I mean, we keep saying it, but it's exactly what we thought was going to happen. I mean, maybe not. Like the goal in the 20 seconds in, I'm like, my Lord, dude, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, it's what couldn't have happened right away.
It was basically a 2-2 game from the beginning. Like they basically scored the goal and they're like, all right, let's start the game now.
Yeah.
Even ground and everything.
100%. The thing is, like, I feel like the one criticism to Atletico is that they always, like, once they score, they fall back, they sit back. To their benefit, they had way more shots on goal than we did because they went on the counter every single time. But they did just kind of sit back, and it makes you think, like, is that kind of play ever going to really work to their benefit? Because every time this happens, like, first leg did the exact same thing. They almost got scored on again. It should have been 3-1 if we wouldn't have had that mess up at the end. But the fact that they keep kind of sitting back and then you end up losing. You know, it seems like very frustrating. Like, should we have attacked the game a little bit more?
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think Atleti was very dominant. They, in my opinion, played the better game. But even, I think it was around the 70th minute, I texted you. And this is when Atletico was still creating all the opportunities. Just on game alone, it looked like they had the momentum. But I texted you, if Atleti does not score, they're going to lose the game. Why? Because Real Madrid, they just don't lose in Champions League. Real Madrid, you do not stop until you have 3, 4, 5 goals. And like, they're just a team. You can't play the margins with them because they're always going to have the upper hand. And I say always because somehow they always just figure it out. Against Bayern Munich 1-2 years ago, they're down 1-0. Bayern's basically going through. They scored 2 goals, like nothing. Man City year before, I think it was.
Yeah.
Same thing. So they're a team that if you're even with them at the end of the game, they're gonna win somehow. And this time it was literally a slip up.
Yeah,
unintended.
So we can talk about that.
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts on that call?
So initially it looked like they called the goal. What we're referencing is the Julian Alvarez penalty kick where he slips slightly and scores a goal, and they called it as a goal at first, and then at least on TV you couldn't tell what happened, right? You couldn't tell that.
Not initially, definitely.
Yeah, he had slipped, and then he touched the ball twice, which you're supposed to just touch it once.
Unless you're Messi.
Then
you can do whatever you want.
Exactly, and that's the point where I'm frustrated because it shows soccer bodies organization with 4 letters, their unwillingness, or more like their willingness to just favor money. And you see this in all of these sports, but ultimately Real Madrid moving through, they're the bigger market. They have arguably the biggest fan base in the world, if not one of the biggest ones. So there's more to win to have a Real Madrid move along in the Champions League than in Atletico. So same thing for the World Cup. Like, there's so many things where FIFA just not really care. One, like the place they hosted it, and 2, like everyone wanted the storyline of Messi to win, and so it just shows a lot of favoritism, I think. So it was just frustrating to see that happen to a team that I thought was in all other regards at least even with Real Madrid. So it was a bad way to have it go.
Yeah, but I guess the difference here is that like they actually called the foul per se and didn't count the goal. And for the Messi one, it's like it clearly hit his other leg, and they're like, yeah, we're just gonna pretend like that didn't happen.
Yeah,
we're just gonna move through with this. But I mean, it's very minimal. But they talk about all the sensors they have in the balls, and all that stuff that they spend so much money on. So they could tell right away. And there was a shot that you could see from, I think it was like the Paramount cameras, where you can see in the front when they pause, you can see like it's like a minuscule touch, but like. I know you hate to see that. It's like you think like the rule's the rule, but like it definitely sucks. Like did it change the trajectory of the ball? Probably not. Obviously, I'm coming at it from the side of like being happy that they won, but like it definitely sucks. Like I would hate to be an Atletico Madrid fan thinking like you were literally like millimeters or inches away from. They still missed the other penalty, right? So that wasn't the end all be all, but from potentially moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm actually like, I'm okay if the rule's a rule, that's fine, but just show consistency how you apply it and when you apply it. I think that's the thing that was frustrating for me. But I think, once again, credit to Real Madrid. They, in my opinion, were not the most dominant team, but they stuck in it. And at the end of the day, it's Real Madrid going on to the next round and not Atletico.
Yeah, I mean, just as I predicted, I'm no surprise here,
Yeah. Did you sweat it, though?
Oh yeah, I was stressed out. I couldn't watch the game live, so I was just sitting on my phone, just refreshing the whole time. And then when I saw went to penalties, I was like, "Gosh darn it!" I was like, "This is the worst." I honestly, penalties are probably the thing that I hate most about football. Like, I just can't stand the penalties. I wish it would just keep playing and like eventually go to like golden goal, next goal wins. Like, it just seems so heartbreaking and so unfair to lose on penalties.
I agree, super unfair. I think it makes it exciting. Like, it really is very heart-wrenching when you go to penalties. A thought I just had right now was you could do like what they do in hockey, where in overtime you take a player out and then you just keep eliminating maybe players, and it can maybe encourage more of it like an attacking kind of game. Maybe like a fun rule like that, but I don't know if I would actually prefer it to penalties.
Yeah, I think it's also just history. It's just the way it's been done. So, like, speaking of penalties, I guess the last thing, I want to touch on before we kind of move on is obviously the PSG-Liverpool game. Question for you is, do you think Mo Salah's campaign for Ballon d'Or just went up in smoke, or do you think that there's still a possibility that he could potentially get it?
I think there's definitely a possibility. I think they have to win the Premier League.
Mind you, they also lost the Carabao Cup this weekend too.
Yes, and it's actually a good segue to the point I was going to make, is that in the matter of like 3 or 4 weeks, they went from having arguably a very like a historic season to a very kind of season. Assuming they win the Premier League, that's awesome. But considering that so late into the season they had Champions League, Premier League, Carabao Cup. Earlier on in the year, they got eliminated from the FA Cup. But they've just really they could have won a lot more. Now they'll have to be happy with the Premier League, which is a big achievement, of course. But it hurts his case, I guess. I think if you have more trophies at the end of the season, you have a better chance. But I think what he's done is pretty great, and he should at least get a contract extension.
I know, yeah, that's the least of it, right?
Yeah.
I think it's over. I think there's no chance he wins it. I think he left. They got eliminated too early. Not just that, but I don't want to say this, but he didn't show up to both games. Like, he did nothing. And if you have arguably the best player in the world, and that's what we would venture to say the Ballon d'Or is, depending on what your opinion is of the award. But if you have the best player and he doesn't show up for 2 matches when your team needs you to move on to, and it was also 1-1. So
yeah,
like, a person can score a goal, change the game, and I feel like he didn't show up. So I think just the fact that they lost so early on, and he didn't kind of do much for it. I think that's why.
Yeah, that's a good point. He did score the only penalty that Liverpool had, and he took that one pretty well. So, but you make a really good point.
Yeah, so I think that'll be it. But obviously, we're going to the quarterfinals is the next one. So next episodes we'll be talking about quarterfinals. Obviously, we still have some time to go, so we'll be debriefing a couple of the San Diego FC games before then. But you want to take us away, Mario?
Yeah, well, a few shout outs first. We have the international break coming up, and we have 2 San Diego FC players that got called up to represent the national teams. So Paddy McNair will be representing Northern Ireland, and then Aníbal Godoy is going to represent Panama, so he'll be playing the U.S. national team. And Mexico will be playing Canada, and this weekend we'll see who wins.
Just a little plug-in.
Nations League, yeah.
Has nothing to do with an international call-ups. Mario just wanted to throw that in there.
No, well, it's what's going to be happening for the international break, so I just wanted to mention it.
Fair enough. And then the next game that we have is going to be Austin FC against San Diego FC, and this will be in Austin. Austin is 2 wins, 2 losses. They just beat LAFC last week 1-0. So that could be a really good match. I think it's going to be another good test, kind of like Columbus Crew was this week.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one too. A semi-recent expansion team as well, so that should be a fun game. Do you have a pitch for this week?
I do not. Shocker. Do you?
Amilcar, come on. I do.
Man, you're literally carrying this segment.
We talked about it a lot already, so I'll be brief. But the inconsistency with FIFA not calling the rule with Julian Alvarez, but not with Messi. I think they should have maybe let him kick it again. I know it's a slippery slope after that, no pun intended, but that's my pitch of the week.
I love it. I agree with you. And about the re-kick, I don't disagree with that. I think if the goalie jumps off the line and blocks it, they get a re-kick. So why shouldn't it be the other way around? I think that might be a good thing. Maybe we'll speak to our friends at FIFA.
Yeah. Next time we're in Switzerland.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
All right. That's all. We'll be back later this week with an episode TBD. It might be a match forecast for the San Diego FC Austin game, or maybe something else, something fun. Well, this is fun already, but you know what we mean. All right. Thank you.